Hello everyone, thanks to the power of the internet, I gotta talk with you. And there was no Monday because Granfia and Sirens were getting things today, Tuesday. And for those of you who don't know, Granfia is one of my favorite pet decks of all time. I have so many plant tokens to prove it. So let's go over it. My excitement over the way. Basically, this new Granfia is like one of the, like Lavien Lord King, Reziel King, Blackmire Nexus. To the point where it's a new Vanguard, but you only need to run one in the ride line because this inherits the effect. Sadly, it doesn't do much with the original Granfia. It just inherits the effects. And you get to place a new Nobilis Rose token on top of the one you already had with all your other plant tokens, which is pretty cool. And at the end of the turn, you're just going to ride base Granfia as rest, and you're going to put this card in as plant gauge, which is actually pretty nice, considering, you know, Nobilis Rose gains power for everything in the plant gauge, so this being in plant gauge, use other support being thrown in the plant gauge, really helps you bolster your numbers. And you heard me right. I did say new Nobilis Rose. She's grown up. She's fully bloomed. For those of you who don't know, it's the same effect, except now there's a once per turn ability tied to the end of it. Whenever your Vanguard's attacked, you can get rid of any number of gauge to give your Vanguard plus 5k. So, my criticism on this is that attack is once per turn. Because Granfia needs a lot of hand size to facilitate actually making Nobilis Rose big, and considering if you only have one Rosemary Fairy, your Vanguard's going to be massive, the Rosemary's going to be massive, your other rearguard is 18, which isn't so good. So I would have liked the struggle between massive offense and massive defense, considering if you don't see the new promo onion, your opponent still just has to point at Nobilis Rose, get rid of it, and Granfia stops functioning. Showing you that that's new support. There's the promo. This is the one that, you know, if you don't have one, when it's engaged, it basically gives, you know, Escalon's Blast token of protection. Which, honestly, I think, even though the promo was a thing, I still think it should have gotten, you know, Gizeh protection, because the whole deck revolves around having Nobilis Rose around and stacking as many cards under the gauge as possible. Same with the Blast token, except that gives power to the front row, which also would have been nice in Granfia. But, you know, they have to be different. So my criticism on this is it still doesn't solve anything, and they could have given that protection with this still. Have that as a backup. You know, if you don't see the newer Granfia, you can still protect it with this. And hey, this also has the added thing of you can put the top 3 decks of your deck in as gauge, which is plus 15k with this thing going in too. That's plus 20k. That's a base Persona ride. And some. We also got this little dude. We got a little Gorge, and I love him. He's so cute. Basically, if he's discarded from your hand, if you got Granfia, you put it into Soul. We don't really need that effect. The only thing you want to be putting into Soul and Soul blasting is Burrow Shrooms for just massive amounts of plant token. However, that other effect is pretty good. When it's in the drop, if you have a rearguard with Nobilis, you remove that card and you call the plant token to rear, which will basically go into, you know, the gauge. So it's a rare. It's never going to see play. I just like its design. So overall, this is really cool art. I appreciate what it's trying to do. It's still Granfia. Granfia still feels like Granfia, even though we got a new Vanguard, which I don't know what to say. It's still a pet deck. It might see results because If your opponent doesn't have PGs, well, it's the same thing that, you know, Empoleon does. I'm a swing with big-ass number really early on, or at least I'm going to try. And, you know, new Noblest Rose, pretty okay. I still like the OG one better. I still love this. The supports, whatever. The promo is probably not going to be expensive when it comes out. I think JP already has this promo, so it can be into irrelevancy. I still think Escalon is just the better Granfia if you want that gameplay. However, I said one other thing. Why I was also really excited about today. Sirens. Sirens got more support. Ooh. Ooh. I love these cards. I love these so much. So this one says, during your turn, when this card is discarded from your hand by the ability of your Argo Siren Vanguard, so we're no longer facilitating, you know, throw an order to drop just to play the order from drop. This one has put a normal unit with a different card name from this card without sentinels from your drop onto the bottom, so you get to bot deck something. Put this card to soul, so it's already facilitating so much already. It goes on. Choose one of your Vanguard's auto ability, and then you get an effect. Christ, this thing's cost is just reason enough to play it. But either you reduce the CB cost or the energy cost of your Vanguard, which honestly, that's pretty cool, because now, with just a playset of these, you can now run energy cyclers, or at least more of them, in the deck. You probably didn't want to, because now you're going to have a lot of Argo and a lot of good things to throw in here. But wait, there's more. In the back row, during your turn, if you got a grade 3 Siren, you know, all your mermaids and tier dragons in the same column as this unit get plus 5k. So, essentially, she becomes a 10k booster. I'm just now only noticing she's a 5k. I thought she was 8. But hey, like I said, that first effect, just the cost alone, is reason playing this as a 4 of. Because it's like, hey, if you run out of like the 1 tier dragon like niche you're playing, like I like Bovine Dragon, who can only attack on the 4th attack, but hey, he's base 2 crit. This thing says, if you've damaged it and put it to drop, get to search it off the order again. Hey, another normal unit, do you want there? Whoosh, anything. This thing's so cool. But wait, there's more. Did you know Bav had a draw 2 thing for discarding an order? Well, we stole that. Sirens is just going, what are all of the best cards from things? Like, our wave 1 of support said, let's have Combine Rusher. Now we have this thing, who Energy Blast 3, discard an order, draw 2, and hey, if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, gets 5k. When this unit attacks or stands by card effect, if you go grade 3 or greater, 5k until end of turn. Don't forget, that says end of turn, so when this unit attacks, plus 5k. When it gets re-standby in effect, plus 5k. That's not tied to your opponent being grade 2. So basically this swings 15 and then 20 when your opponent's still grade 2, which is really nice. I'm glad we're getting a double and a triple rare. So this is technically Siren's second wave of support, but just from how, I've said this before, when Sirens first released, the deck already felt incomplete. That was followed by 2 more cards that came recently in set 8. We got a rare and a double rare, and that seemed to like fill in some of the holes we were missing, so I consider that like the 0.5 wave of support. Like, that should have been there in the original release, is what I'm thinking. But they just had to spread it out, because this feels like actual dedicated support of like, alright, you've gotten the deck for a little bit, now here's to improve it massively. And talking about the set 8 support, we have Sifis here. because this is the only one you should be running. The double rare. The rare is cool and all, but this one takes the goddamn medal. When your tier dragon or mermaid stand, so basically everything you're trying to stand and the deck, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Argo Siren in its name, put this on the bottom of the deck, draw, choose a unit, get plus 5k. So you boost with this thing. When something stands, you put it on the bot deck and draw. That's it. That's great. She's an 8k booster, give something 5k, and you draw a card. I don't need to say more than that. She's also an Argo Siren, so she's searchable. Pair this with this thing. God. When you have a Vanguard with Argo Siren in its name, or Aqua Force, so I guess you could also play this in Maelstrom, actually. You get rid of your order, you draw 2. When this thing restands, you draw again, meaning this thing can possibly swing for 25k, like 30-ish, just on your first turn alone. And you've drawn 3. And Argo Siren did slightly have a hand problem, and you weren't going to run Inlet, and now you don't have to. You got this behemoth. You got this drawing you cards. You got her drawing you cards. This is a match made in heaven. And also, because she bot decks herself, this bot decks cards you should theoretically never deck out. You should, in theory, have everything searchable. You should run out of your orders before anything bad happens to you. But yeah. I am in love with this Siren support. I wish I could deck build for you in this video. But like, we're gonna do it. Granfia hasn't changed. Granfia now just replaces its normal Persona rides with the new card. You add in some of the promo. That's it. For Sirens, though, yeah. Instant 4 of, well, this card is cool and can intercept from back row. And if your bind zone has tiding, it's a 10k. You're not really running it. 3. I think I'm running 2. I just can't keep focused. I'm just like, I want to play more around with ratios, and now we have more Argo Sirens. I'm like, oh. But basically, at least Siren-wise, we're gonna throw those in just for the aesthetics. Azim can be happy with me. I think this is more or less at least what you're playing from Argo stuff outside of some of the ride line stuff also going in there. So like, she's pretty cool. 4 of those. Bam. Half your deck's already kind of done. Like I said, ratios would have to be adjusted. But TLDR over this whole video. Cool art. Thanks, bro. You're still Granfia. I wish that wasn't a once per turn, not being played. No price gouging with this will happen, because it's still Granfia at the end of the day. I wish we could have just had the base protection of this on the new plant token. Based, set 8 by. But yeah, this is just me seeing support and being happy that the 2 decks I like in Stokea are getting value support. Especially, who would have ever guessed that Granfia would have gotten a new form? Like, this still blows my mind. Like, when did Granfia come out? Like, he came out Booster 9. Do you know who came out first? Flagberg. Flagberg came out like Booster 2, Booster 3, and has still yet received a new form. Outside of everything else has. I thought he would have received a new form before Granfia. I thought so many other things would receive a new form before Granfia. I thought Granfia was forgotten. In the winds it went. And it was just me madly playing the deck, going, look at my big plant token. Look at you dissociating, and then I swing 150 with Vanguard. But yeah, outside of everything, this is more one of my mad rambling videos. There was no script. There's nothing behind this. This is just honest reactions right here. But yes, thank you Argo Sirens for making my day with a cost. That's not a cost. This is broken. You don't even need an effect based off of reduce the cost. Like I said, I just play this for the first cost effect. It's great. Thank you for letting us steal from Bav. That's pretty cool. And thank you Set 8 Support, finally filling in the holes that the original wave should have just fixed. Alright. But please, let me know what you think. Comments below. I love discussing. And, see you all in the next one.